Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Public input on agenda and non-agenda items. Is there anyone wishing to speak in the public input section on agenda or non-agenda items?
Nobody?
I didn't think so. Mr. Carmel, you want to say a few words on how opening day went today?
Yeah, actually great opening day. Dr. Watson and I got to every building separately, so we were there throughout the day. And I mean, really one of our best openings, smooth transportation, and the kids and teachers all excited. We're off to a great start and looking forward to a great year. Also want to talk a little bit about the goals that are on the district goals. There's no substantive change to them, but if you turn to second to last page of the agenda. Goal 4, which is a really important goal for us, we've been discussing it as we go through our achievement levels each year, is about using data. But it was a little bit wordy and cumbersome because it had the old dates in it. It said we would train all our staff by December 2013 and starting January 2012. There was a bunch of dates in there that we took away from the goal itself. So I just reworded it today with the cabinet, and take a look at it and see what you think. It's again substantively the same. It just doesn't have the dates in there that seemed a little bit irrelevant at this point.
I wish it was a little more measurable, John.
I'm sorry, I didn't say.
I wish it was a little more measurable.
Well, I mean, that piece of it didn't really change. I hear you, I agree with you. All our other ones are really smart goals where we can measure and see what we're doing. This one is more of a, intertwined through all of them, that we are using data now all the time. One of the things that we felt makes it a little more specific and measurable, Mary, is the last line about those new data feedback strategy meetings. That's part of our efficacy initiative that we have in the district, and so we're trying to make sure that that's in there so that people know that they're having those regularly. Now, we talked about maybe putting an actual timeline in there of when we would have them, but each building does it a little bit different. Some have them weekly, some have them bi-weekly.
So when you say at all levels, is it building level, grade level?
It's all of that, and
Okay.
district level. We want it in there because district decisions are all based on data now. We take the data, we look at it, we analyze it, get the feedback, and have new strategies. So that data feedback strategy process is how we're making our decisions throughout the district now, and have been for a couple of years.
Right.
When do we discuss goals?
Is there
Well, it's usually, it probably should have been at last Wednesday's meeting. It's usually the same meeting where I give the results. I talked about our 20% and all that, and talked about it. I thought we were glad we kept it. In fact, Ms. Rounds, you said that. So I assume the board wanted to keep them the same. If you want to discuss them, we can do that right now.
But I think for this year, but for the 17-18 school year, maybe we can start discussing it early enough, like in July.
Sure.
To make number 4, I mean, not to totally change it, but to make it
Right.
somehow.
So,
more
I mean,
beneficial.
even if you said, from grade level up to district level, I mean, that would make it pretty clear what our expectations are. But when you say, I don't know, like, it's kind of out there.
Well, again, that wording I didn't change. That thing about all levels throughout the district, that's in our current goal 4. So all I really did, I agree with you.
Right.
And then we can have that discussion now or next year, as Tom is saying. The wording, establishes student achievement data as a condition of new employment, all of those wordings and all levels throughout the district, that's all stuff in the current goal 4.
Right.
I didn't change any of that.
I think if we do, I mean, this is kind of like just tweaking it, by taking out the dates. So I think that if we do this tonight, I think that's fine, but
We'll
think it's
start,
time
yeah,
to
we'll
think,
start the
yeah.
conversation, and actually we'll be better at the DFS meetings, and so maybe we talk about, it's once a week at every grade level or something like that, where people really have some specifics of what we're looking for. But it probably is good for us to get a year under our belt doing it, and we'll see.
Okay.
Sound good, Dr. Locke?
Yeah, I was gonna say, we have, at the district level, we've started quarterly DFS meetings, so we could certainly add that in because that will be happening, and at the buildings, it's at least monthly, and in some buildings, it's more frequently than monthly. So I think when it comes to data, the next step that we're all working on is really having, as the language says, regular and scheduled ongoing data meetings. So we could certainly measure that with a frequency or,
It would be easy enough, I just,
yeah.
It's a great idea, so we'll work on that, and I think Tom makes a good point. We'll start it earlier in the summer so we can have some discussion about it.
Any questions on the first day of the goals? Thank you. Superintendent, non-action items are listed. Approval of minutes as listed.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor? Superintendent recommendations for human resources. Move for consent agenda items 1 through 15.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Staff matters classified. Move for consent agenda items 1 through 4.
Second.
Discussion.
I would just like to thank Mrs. Yaski and her team for all their hard work over the summer. I know you guys were absolutely crazy, and we do appreciate it. Thank you.
Right up until today, I believe, right?
Slowing down a little.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Superintendent recommendations for programs. Move for consent agenda items 1 through 3.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Superintendent recommendations for business and finance. Move for consent agenda items 1 through 3.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Board resolutions. Move for consent agenda items 1 through 3.
Second.
Discussion. Where did that out?
And you know the exact.
It's in Hubbards in the
I've
email.
got it here.
No, I'm gonna email this approximately, the exact amount for the ARC, you know?
Yeah.
You don't want to change.
No, it's an add-on. They are checking. It was an email we got.
Yeah, so that's the exact, she's not gonna find it, she's looking at my email.
Oh, yeah.
I might be able to get it here.
Those are for notification only. We don't approve transfers.
Right?
My
Well,
email
it's-
just said
it's-
The board doesn't approve
It wasn't
transfers.
exactly 3:00.
Yeah.
That's a good
You
thing.
can't say it right.
If Jason slows down, I'll be able to.
Hey, Alice, take your time.
Oh, you can look at your.
You got your
That's what I'm
records.
trying to do.
Okay.
So does anybody want to sing a song?
He should
Well,
say
it's
that.
not time.
Well, it looks like it was a good start. How many board members got any phone calls today? You got a phone call?
You did?
About Carol Hill?
Carol Hill Cross.
Oh, Boston. Oh, that's more.
I actually do this times transit.
Yeah, because, well, I don't know, it might have been.
I referred
the other
them
one.
to
I
the
got to
appropriate
Carroll Hill
place.
probably 8:30, and the first thing Mr. Flowey said is the buses were, I mean, they were all a little bit like 5 minutes late, because it's the first day, but he said they were great, 5 or 10 minutes late. So, but I don't
Which is,
know.
it was, they
Yeah.
weren't, and I referred them.
Yeah.
They weren't really upset.
So when the board doesn't hear, it's a good day. It's a good day.
Favorite thing.
This is like one of those, I think it's the second school year that we've done this with, so it's great.
Proper preparation. What do you got?
All right, we're going to add on under board resolutions, this will be number 4. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education of the enlarged city school district of Troy accepts a check in the amount of $301,995.14 from the Art Charter School, representing the district's share of public funds returned to the district, sending students upon the dissolution of the Art.
Second.
Discussion.
I'd just like to thank our attorney for guiding us through this process and everybody involved. I know you guys have already done a lot of work with this, and it's nice to get something back.
All the hard work paid off.
Kathy did a great job on it. It's really been a long process. Glad to see it all.
And just so everyone knows, this is an extra money. This is money that's going to pay for the bond that was approved last year. It's covering the taxpayer's share.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Discussion of future meetings. September 21st, 2016, 6 p.m. here at Troy Middle School. October 5th, 2016, 6:30 p.m. Troy Middle School. October 19th, 2016, 6 p.m. We'll be at School 14. The Audit Committee will meet October 19th, 2016 at 5 p.m. at School 14. When you get home, your On Board magazine today has a list of the NISBA schedule of different courses. You can start looking at that. The conference is October 27th through 29th. Very best get everything together for our travel and our times.
What was that, an email or was that?
It came in the actual
Okay,
newspaper. And Questar will be here November 2nd, 2016.
And we did give them a topic today, actually, and they confirmed by email. Remember in our presentation last week, we were talking about this year trying to find other ways to service our at-risk, hard-to-reach middle school population. Our ALP is working hard, but we want to see if there are other more successful programs out there. So we've asked Gladys and her team to research that a little bit for us. So that's what the presentation should be about.
Does anyone else have anything they would like to discuss prior to adjournment?
Yes, I do.
This is how.
I know we were talking about it on the news. Has the district started, or when will they start testing the water from the district?
Great question, Ms. Harvey. Well, we were going to put it in the Friday report, and I still will put it in the Friday report. Remember, it was probably last spring that we decided to do that as a district, test our water, made the decision to go forward with it. And then policy and actually legislation came down, and Governor Cuomo signed it yesterday or the day before. And so now, we had to do it anyway, but we had already agreed to do it. The problem with the legislation is they put some deadlines on it. I don't know if you saw that, Ms. Hardy. If you have K-5 students, you got to be done by September 30th, and every other building is by October 31st. So we got right on the phone and email contacting our people immediately when we saw the news release. Logistically, I'm not sure how Governor Cuomo thinks that all 700 plus districts in New York State are going to be able to get tested by end of September, but that's what we're going to try to do. So we've already got Questar looking into companies. Craig Hansen, who does a lot of work with us, he's the director of health and safety there. And so we'll keep you posted, but we'll still send the new legislation and things that have to happen, and we'll try to get those deadlines as best we can, but it'll happen now in the next 2 months.
And the second question is, we can be funding expenditures, because it's not anything we had foreseen in our budget.
We did
encumber
when
funds
the
last
board, when we talked about it in the spring, we did encumber some funds. Now, well,
For the water testing?
yeah, for the testing part. Now, remember, we talked about it when we did it. It was one Friday report back in the spring. The problem's going to be if we find something that needs remediation, that's going to be more than we bargained for, probably, depending on the level of it. So the testing part is in the budget. What happens after the testing, we'll have to have a discussion.
We'll have Cuomo pay for it.
Yes, send in the bill. What are the consequences if the water comes back and it's bad? What do we close the school?
No, it'll be in the Friday report. There are a few things. I'll try to get a couple by memory. You have to shut off that source immediately. If it's an entire building or something, you have to have bottled water available. If it's only one tap or two, then you just close those. And then you have a certain time frame of when you have to fix it. So all of that is outlined pretty clearly. That's the one good thing about it. It's outlined pretty clearly. I will send that in the Friday report. The only concern I had was the timeline, which was out of nowhere. Nobody had ever said that was going to happen so quickly, and so the logistics of it are going to be tough. But the actual rules about it aren't so bad.
Will the city of Troy help us with this? They have the water
They
testing.
that they would help with the testing, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
But I'm sure they have their own,
Personal letter.
we have a water
But
filtration
he's
plant.
in charge of the water, so he does his job.
We have a water filtration plant that belongs to Troy. I would think that if we call,
Chris Allen sent a letter.
and if we needed something, I'm sure they would do it cheap. I know that if there's a problem with my house, the sewer line going into my house, and we have to call a plumber for it, the city of Troy will say, we can do it cheaper for you, and you pay. So they have people there
We'll reach out.
that can do that, so maybe just that might speed things up for us.
Yeah, we'll check it out.
So, and Jason Schofield knows a lot of
It
people.
might help us meet the deadlines, so we'll look into it. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Now we'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?